Good day, one and all. Welcome to my channel. My name is Donato, and welcome to a very special interview chat broadcast with a running legend that, for me, it's an absolute honor to have this man on because not only is he of my age group, and this man's been running for over 5 decades. He was born in 1960. Electrician by background, but has more world records than I've eaten pizza this week. That's how good this guy is. So I'm sure a lot of you are busting to listen to this man. He is an absolute running legend, and I had the honor of, I could say, ran with me at Manchester Marathon, but he was so far ahead of me. I think he'd finished, had lunch, finished, gone back home before I had actually finished myself. But it's the one, the only, Tommy Hughes. Welcome, Tommy.
Thank you, Donato. Thank you very much.
It's great to see you on here. And as I say, thank you so much for taking the time to come in on. I know you've been quite busy and lots of people wanting to chat to you, especially with what happened last week. Because today, whilst we're recording this on Sunday the 10th, it was Sunday the 3rd, wasn't it? Sunday.
That's correct. I remember
we both ran Manchester Marathon. How are you feeling after Manchester Marathon?
Feeling okay. After the race, my legs were very sore. The next day, they weren't too bad, and then came home to Northern Ireland on Tuesday, and straight away back into my running again. So
yeah,
the marathon it worked out pretty well for me in Manchester. It was cold, but it's better cold than far too hot. So it was well organized, very well organized, and really enjoyed it. Being part of it.
Yeah, because you did get a new world record, wasn't it? It might not have been the time that you wanted. I know you were going for that sub 2:30, but it was a new world record for the V60 category. Was that correct?
No, there in 2020, the Championship Ireland organised a race in Northern Ireland here, where there was about 12 of us running with my son and a few others pacing me. Yeah. And around 2:30:02 that day.
02.
Yeah.
Right. And the time in Manchester was
2:30:05.
05, man. Those 3 seconds, I forgot the 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But because it did say an unofficial world record, so obviously you'd missed the world record by 3 seconds.
It's actually a world record for a 62-year-old. Which
yes, yeah. That was my point. I mean, for a 60, I mean, it's astonishing times. How people I did put out there, as I was saying earlier, Tommy, before we went on the live recording, I had so many questions from people.
Yeah.
And we could do like a grilling, where we put the spotlight on you and just go through the questions. But I'd like to sort of chat through it. There's lots of things. I mean, you've been going for over 5 decades. You represented Ireland at the Barcelona Olympics in '92.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about. How did you get into running? How did it all happen? Because a lot of people watching will know who you are and they love you and they've been following you for years. But there's some who may be watching who don't know who you are and wondering, who is this guy? 62-year-old running 2 hours 30. How did you get into running all those decades ago?
Yeah, well, the funny thing was that I'm mad about sports since I was young, very young, all types of sports. So to find out I was good at one of the sports, like running, I just put all my eggs in the one basket and just went okay, I'm going to train and train and train. But when I started running, I never thought I'd be at the Olympics, and it just everything progressed, and I just found out I was just a natural runner, So it's pure dedication and enjoying things that I do in the running that keeps me motivated.
Yeah. Because the question is what keeps you motivated now?
Oh, definitely trying to break that 2 hours 30 minutes for the first person ever over 60 to break 2 hours 30-minute barrier.
Yeah.
Plus, it'll be 5 decades that I've run under 2 hours 30. Once every decade for the last 4 decades. So I'm trying to achieve one more. I don't think I'm going to do it after I turn 70, but you never know.
I mean, you never know. I mean, there's something powering you. I mean, one of my regular commenters, contributors, she's a lady in the States, and she's a masters runner, very, you know, up there, and one of the leading masters in the 55 to 60 group. And she said that they should take Tommy Hughes. The scientists need to take your body and examine you. You know, how what's going on in your body, how you do that. And obviously, she's speaking from experience. She stopped doing marathon running and she focuses on 5Ks now and 10Ks. But and I say one of the top masters athletes in the States. But you know, who you don't know, do you? You know, you're 62 at the moment. You didn't think, you know, maybe when you were in your 50s, would you keep going in your 60s?
That's correct. I just, excuse me, I take it from day to day. And if I wasn't able to run tomorrow, I'd find something else to do. But that's the way I am. So I really enjoy running and staying fit. And if I wasn't able to compete, then I would just run to stay fit. It's it's in my blood now to keep running in my life, and as part of just keeping me grounded.
It's your DNA. You say you've done other sports. I did read somewhere that you I mean, like with a lot of Irish people, I have many Irish friends who play Gaelic football. That was one of the sports you were doing, was that right?
Yeah, that started off when I was young, playing Gaelic football and playing soccer, playing any sport at all that I enjoyed. And I really enjoy cycling as well, but I never really get the time for the cycling because running is basically, for me, is another full-time job without getting paid for it, you know.
Because someone did ask, are you sponsored? Are you a sponsored athlete?
Well,
no.
I actually get sponsorship from a running apparel company in England called Soar. So they sponsor a kit to me and my son. Because we are Guinness World Record holders for father and son in the marathon. So they sponsor us. They give us a bit of help with kit. But as regards shoes, then I take my pick with the shoes, you know, and it's usually the Nike shoes are probably the best at the minute.
Yeah, which Nike do you use?
Well, the Zoom Vaporfly.
The Alpha Fly.
Well, I bought a pair of Alpha Flies for Manchester, but decided I brought the two pair over, the Vaporfly and the Alpha Fly, and decided to go with the Vaporfly, the ones that I knew are good for me. The Alpha Fly were a kind of an experiment. I ran a 5K on them, and I thought, well, they're not much different than the Vaporflies. You may better go with just what you know, rather than experiment in the Manchester Marathon. But maybe the next marathon I'll try the Alpha Flies.
Right. Okay. Because again, I mean, do you have any views on these super shoes? I mean, what times could have you been running, you know, 4 decades ago if you had these kinds of super shoes? Do they make that big a difference to yourself, Tommy?
I think they definitely do. It's because there's so much kind of, what would you say, there's so much cushioning.
Yeah, the foam.
Now, the foam makes a lot of difference, because you're not hammering your legs like you used to. Because in my younger days, I would wear a pair of racing flats, which is the minimum cushioning on them, and then after the marathon, you couldn't do nothing for 2 weeks because your legs were that sore. But the Alpha Flies and the Vapor Flies, you're able to near enough train straight away after the marathon. It's unbelievable. Recovery that you have, as well as that they do, because they got the loads of cushioning. Your strides actually longer, so you're running quicker.
You're running quicker, for the same energy.
That's correct, for the same effort. Yeah,
because it was fantastic watching some of the coverage where you were in a group with the leading lady. Is it Becky? I can't remember the lady's name. Becky Briggs, and obviously she then went off and sprinted all on her own to the finish. I think she
was
finished
very strong on that.
Very strong at the finish.
But I made a rookie mistake in the race.
What was that?
Because the girl that was leading the race was in a group ahead of Betty Briggs.
Yeah.
And the group, the Betty Briggs's group, and what the group I was in was closing on them. So I decided to try and make the first group, the one with the lead girl in. And because our group was closing on the front group, I think the girl sped the whole other group up, which meant that I was trying to catch them, but they were speeding up, and I got caught in no man's land between the two groups. And I was using up energy on my own into a slight wound on a straight part of the road.
Yeah.
And I ended up dropping back into Betty Briggs's group and then trying to get my head round to settling in that group again. So I made a bit of a mistake there. So it kind of cost me in the last 2 or 3 miles.
2 3 miles, and that's the difference. Literally seconds.
Yes, that's correct.
You were telling me you felt this. I mean, I find it astonishing running those times, but you say you felt disappointed by those 5 seconds or 6 seconds to make it sub 2:30.
Yeah, my ambition is to run sub 2:30, and I need to do it pretty soon, because as time goes on and I get older, it starts to slip away because there's so much dedication and the training and all that I need to get it out of the way so that I can just concentrate and maybe even go faster, but just get that barrier out of the way for me.
So do you believe you can still go faster?
I believe I can. If I was a full-time runner, I think I could run 2:25.
Right.
No problem. On a decent course like Valencia or Seville or a fast course. And maybe a bit warmer place.
Because you said, I mean, you're wearing the Manchester top. You can show it off. You got into that by accident. You were planning on a different race, though, weren't you? To go for the world record.
I was hoping to go to Valencia Marathon on the 3rd of December last year, and a week before the race, the Spanish government decided to bring in a rule that you had to be double vaccinated to come into the country. Now, I got vaccinated, the first vaccination in April last year, and it affected me by sending my heart rate away for 10 days. So I didn't go back for the second one. I just took my chances, and it came back to bite me because then I wasn't able to get to Valencia because I wouldn't have any time to get the second vaccine. It was too late to get it. So I decided to switch to Manchester the marathon after that. Because it was in the UK and there would be not as much restrictions to get over to Manchester. So
I understand your feeling on that. I mean, I had to drop out of Berlin for similar reasons and then just switch to London. Thankfully, when we have the benefit of having to choose those, it's great having that choice. But Manchester, a lot of people talk about it's fast, it's flat, it's friendly. Obviously, the fast bit is subjective because everyone's fast is different. It's definitely very friendly. It's so fantastically organized. We were chatting, was it? You've done many marathons. We can ask you, how many have you done, Tommy? Do you know off the top of your head how many marathons have you run?
I think I've done over 100 marathons in my lifetime.
And where would you put Manchester in terms of friendliness and organizations? Would you put it up there with the top
definitely.
ones?
Friendliness and organization was unbelievable. I was getting support all around the course, people shouting for me, and I'm amazed that people know me. But anyway, I really enjoyed it because it was a very, very good race. It turned out better than I thought. The organization, there was nobody pushing at the front. Everybody let people move into positions at the start of the race and just take off. And there wasn't like the likes of London where you're kind of bogged down with loads and loads and loads of different people trying to get to the front, not really supposed to be there type of thing. And Manchester was so well organized that way, I really
it is brilliant. I mean, I've been there a few times. It's the first time I've ran it. But I've been there a couple of times as a spectator. But the organisation is impeccable. But the flat bit, it's not
It's not
totally flat, is it? No, it's a bit of a rolling course, but at the end of the day, the amount of elevation, it's not that much. So
no, that's right.
I don't think there's any flat courses in Britain, is there? Unless you went round and round, say a 5K loop.
London would be the fastest course in Britain, but because the design of the course, you can get a head one in the last 6 miles in London, which I found to my detriment last year when I ran it. But again, you could go the next year, like this year, and get the ones behind you in the last 6 miles, which would be a real benefit, So you just have to take the rough with the smooth. But Berlin probably is the fastest course in the world. If you want to go for a fast time, Berlin, everybody goes for it.
Yeah, you've ran Berlin, Tommy. Yeah,
I haven't run. No.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you going to go this autumn
to do it? But it'll not be this year because I'm going back to London again, because it's hosting the Abbott's World Masters Marathon Championships again.
Yeah.
They hosted it last year, so they're hosting it this year again. So I'm going over for that reason, and because the London Marathon is a fast course as well, and I don't have to travel out of the UK type of thing. Because of all the restrictions and all, I just don't want to jump through so many hoops just to get to a race. So
it does add a lot of stress and anxiety on those, doesn't it? And it's things we can do without. Who knows? I may see you in London as well. But there was can we talk about the funny story in London where you got caught short? Tell us more about that. I mean, it made me chuckle. I'm glad you're smiling, Tommy, because sometimes people don't want to talk about because it meant you missed a world record by a minute. Because tell us what happened and where it was.
Actually, the race started off and I was okay for the first 4 or 5 miles, and then I felt the urge that I had to go to the toilet. It wasn't just number 2 or whatever it is. It was I had to stop, type of thing. So I was trying to concentrate and put it off, and keep going and keep going. But I was concentrating on my son up ahead of me, and he was starting to come back to me, type of thing. And the next thing, he disappeared, because he said that the start, because we were in the world records line for taking off. For the Guinness World Record line, we should have been in the championship line where they were set off with 5 minutes in front of us. Yeah, they were set off 5 minutes in front of us. So we should have been in that group going off, but because we were trying for a Guinness World Record again
they put you in that other group. Yeah.
We were put in the slower group.
So you with the trees and Big Ben and all that?
We were caught up, we were merged after about a mile, and we were caught up in slower runners. So it was having to make our way between runners and trying to keep going. But as I say, Eoin was needed to have a pee before the start of the race, and we couldn't leave the front of that group before the start because we'd have lost our place, and it would have been even worse. So we had to stand there. And anyway, the race went ahead, and I was catching on, and next thing he disappeared, and I thought, I wonder where he's gone. So I kept on going, and next thing, about halfway, Eoin tapped me on the shoulder, and I go, where were you? He said, I had to stop at the Portaloo. So he had to stop. As soon as he says that, then the urge really came on me, and I'm going, what am I going to do here? So I'm not going to make it to the finish, So the next thing, I seen a big pile of trees where I thought, I could go in there, and there was barriers there, and I was trying to get in through the barriers, and the guy seen me struggling, so he opened the barrier for me, and I scooted in behind the trees, stopped me watch, went in behind the trees, back out again, off I went again, and I felt a lot better, and and I crossed the line and looked at my watch, ran 2:29:30, but on the real time, I'd missed a minute and a half with a pit stop.
Yeah.
Again, I was disappointed again, but I will get it sometime. Hopefully, maybe London. I'm actually gonna do Belfast Marathon in 3 weeks' time to see if I can have a another crack at the 2:30.
Yeah, because one of my questions is how, because I read somewhere you're race ready all the time.
Yeah.
Well, one is I'll ask, can you explain that? How are you race ready all the time? Is obviously you've got another marathon coming up. So how are you race ready? I mean, do you do any specific blocks of training? Do you do any
No.
tapering?
Yeah.
Do you plan it all, or do you just
Yeah.
rock up and run?
What I do is most of my training is pretty much sedate. It's slow-ish, and I use races and park runs or whatever comes up at the weekends for my sharpening up.
Yeah.
And that's how I operate. And then when it comes to the likes of the marathon, I 2 or 3 or 4 weeks before that, I'll run maybe a 16 mile on a Saturday and a 16 mile on a Sunday, rather than doing a long run of 23 or 24 miles. I'll just keep doing that there in 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, and then when it comes to the week before the marathon, I'll just taper off. And the tapering part is the hardest for me because I'm so used to going out and training all the time that when you taper, you kind of knock the miles back again, but you're still basically eating the same as what you'd be doing when you're doing about 100 mile a week. So my problem is I'm thinking, oh, I'm putting on weight and stuff like that there. So that psychologically, it's pretty tough for me to taper, but I can race the best. I love racing, and I love doing park runs and stuff like that there, just to get the sharpness going. A 5K flat out for me, like it's a 5K time trial. So I'll do that and just enjoy the journey type of thing, and enjoy all that. It's just you have to enjoy it. You have to mix it up, and just, if you're not going to enjoy it, you're not going to keep it going.
Yeah. When you mentioned, because I think one of the key questions almost everybody asked is, the key things that they're looking at is, when you first started, when did you jump to getting a coach straight away, or have you self-coached now? But it's like, what's a typical training week, and then the recovery and the diet and all that type of stuff. It's almost like, and I try and say on my channel is it's different for different people. Find what works for you. But what is your typical training week? So if we've got a race the following Sunday, or forgetting the race, but say like you've done the recovery week, when you get back into training, what's your typical training week? If you walk us through from Sunday through to the Saturday.
Well, Sunday, if I start off on Sunday, it's a long run. So this morning I done 16 mile.
Right.
Tomorrow.
And is that an easy pace? What you call easy pace?
I don't call it easy pace. I call it 3/4 pace. It's not
okay.
all flat out, and it's not easy either.
Right.
It's just what I'm feeling on the day. So if I feel tired, it might be easier than last Sunday.
Okay.
So if I'm feeling good, I might push on, and I might decide, all right, I'm going to get into the oxygen debt big time, and just hurt. Just it all depends on how the body is coping and how I'm feeling. Then after that, it's like Monday, I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do 7 mile, and then go to work, and then at half 5 in the evening, back home, do 9 mile, and that's typically through the week. And then the weekends, I'll either have a race or a park run, or decide to do a 16 mile on a Saturday and a 16 mile on a Sunday type of thing. It just mix it up and just do what. But normally I'm up around 100 mile a week.
Wow. And it's the double runs every day. So a run before work and a run after work.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And then weekends, as you say, 16 miles. So I did read something. You don't use technology, do you? You don't use heart rate monitors.
No.
You run on feel.
Yeah.
And so you're not getting the watch to tell you what pace to do or anything like that?
No, I don't look at the watch. Sometimes I would take a look at the watch just to see kind of what pace. But because around where I live here is very, very hilly, so I wouldn't even look at the watch, because you're going up and down hills and all.
Yeah,
So it's
it
not,
makes no sense, does
it
it?
makes no sense, is right.
Yeah.
You're just going out and doing your miles, and
Yeah.
you're staying fit, and then
Yeah.
you're using the races to sharpen up
Mhm.
for a marathon. The way I look at things is, I'm a marathon runner, and any other race is building towards the marathon. That's the way I look at things.
Yeah.
So a 5K, 10K, half marathon, it's all building towards a particular marathon that I want to do and want to do well in. And I'm scared to do a bad marathon, you know. That's the way I look at things.
But you do carry a watch. You do wear a watch, though, don't
Oh
you?
yeah,
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 just
yeah,
to
yeah,
record the distances and so
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's fascinating to see, because a lot of people say, run on feel, but with the training runs that you do, going back to the shoes, because a lot of people always just want to talk about shoes. Personally, I don't get it, but I do get it why they want to talk, because there's so much media about it. And
Yeah.
even on YouTube, there's people that call themselves shoe tubers, because all they do is talk about running shoes. Do you have different running shoes for different training? Or do you have the same shoes? Do you just go out in the same shoes, and then when they're worn out, you just get another pair of shoes?
I do have different shoes for training, but I wear the older, the shoes that are pretty much. I wear a good like Vaporflies and stuff like that for a brand new pair for racing, and
Yeah,
then when they get older, I'll use them as training.
use them as training. Okay,
So that's the way I work. So if
right.
I fancy a pair of shoes in a different brand, I'll buy them just to try them. I have Asics, and I have Hoka's, uh, Rocket X, the Hoka Rocket X, like New Balance, New Balance shoes and stuff like
Okay.
that there.
So do you tend to stick with the carbon plated type shoes now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's easier on the body. That's the
Right.
reason why I would use them. Like,
Mhm.
I wouldn't. I haven't used a racing flat in a long time, because I know my Achilles and stuff like that will get, battered, and it's usually just I use the carbon plated and the foam, plenty of foam.
Yeah. And a lot of the training, say it's lots of hills, but most of your training is on roads, though. Yeah, you don't do cross
On the roads.
country
Yeah.
or trails.
Well, there's some park runs around here that are on trails and forests and stuff like that there, so I can
You
do
don't
that.
use the Vaporflies on those, do you?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the old ones. Yeah.
Oh, the old Vaporflies. But
Yeah,
is there enough grip with them?
There is grip. There is grip. As long as it's not too bad, as long as it's not too slippy, I'll definitely use them.
Yeah, because one of my previous guests was Alistair Walker, similar to yourself, world record holder, but his is at 3 kilometers track, 3,000 meters track. I think he holds the 10K record. I can't remember what age group, but again, he's a little older than us. I think he's 65 now, 66.
Yeah.
But he was saying how he loves the Vaporflies, because it just makes your legs just keep. Obviously, we need to be at a certain level of fitness. So stating the bleeding obvious, Tommy, is the shoes don't make us fast by magic. We have to do the training, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
we need the cadence, and we need the fitness. But the shoes, he said, they sort of push him along once you're moving. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, there's a bounce off the shoes that makes you go propel you forward. It makes you strides either longer, because there's the foam and all the rest. Your strides longer, so it does speed you up. Definitely does.
Yeah. So you give the thumbs up to the super shoes, yeah?
Oh, definitely. I've always I'll not shy away from science and moving forward, and there's no problem at all with me.
Right. Well, speaking of science, I mean, now we've had a week so you've gone through a typical training week. What was your recovery week from Manchester? How's this recovery week been for you? What's your typical recovery week?
Yeah, well, as I say, I've dropped my miles this week, but that's just to get the legs back to normal again. So it was probably Tuesday. It was 5 mile in the morning. I enjoy getting up in the morning, no matter what time. I like it in the early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, and do a 5 mile or a 7 mile, and then the evening time, I just kicked back and recovered. So it was like one training session this week, and then I think Thursday, Thursday I put in 2 training sessions, and then Friday at one again, and yesterday at one again, and then 16-mile run the day. So it's I think 55-mile this week.
Wow! Did you go out on the Monday after the race?
No. I was staying an extra day over in Manchester, so it was really wet that day, and
it was raining,
my legs
wasn't it?
were sore anyway, so I decided just to rest up, and the airport was chaotic, so I got there really early, just to get through it. So
as part of the recovery, I mean, we do get through a lot of food. You were saying that when you come to a taper, you find it difficult because you continue eating the same food. What's your typical diet? You know, do you follow any strict diets, or do you just eat what you enjoy, or are you like myself? Do you just eat loads of carbs? You eat pizza and pasta all the time, you know? Are you a closet Italian like myself? You know, what's your typical diet, Tommy?
Yeah, well, being Irish, it'd be potatoes as well.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't forget potatoes. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I enjoy pasta. I do enjoy pasta, and I have take pasta with me 2 or 3 times a week to lunch and stuff like that there to work. I eat a lot of bread, which is wrong. I think I should cut down on the bread more. And
do you think so? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I eat too much bread. But anyway, vegetables, I eat everything that I think would be useful to my body. I don't eat much rubbish. Eat some sweets and stuff like that an odd time or two. But I think really at the end of the day, I don't think it's too important what you're fueling. Well, it is important to get the right fueling, but if you put in the wrong fueling, I don't think it's a disaster because you can train it off. Like I bet there's pasta and pizzas and I bet kebabs and all the rest. You just burn it off again anyway. So, but for to get the right nourishment for marathon, then you have to kind of concentrate on getting the right vegetables and fruit and stuff like that there, which I love my fruit as well. Like I love oranges and apples and bananas and stuff like that there. So, but there's no real secret. It's just mix it up, you know.
Yeah, there's no magic formula.
No, that's right. The body will take what it needs and it'll dispense with what it doesn't need.
Yeah, exactly. What goes in and it comes out, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear of a lot of these types of nutrition and recoveries, obviously with the recovery week. Do you take protein powders straight after a run?
No.
Or anything like that? No. Flavored milk, anything like that?
No.
So one of the topical things I've got to mention this, Tommy, is, and I think I'll bring it up because I've seen, and again, each one to their own. So we're not having a go at people who use this stuff or drink it or eat it or whatever, but CBD oils, cannabinoid oils and whatever for recovery. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I've never really used it, and I don't think
you haven't tried it for recovery or anything. It's supposed to be some kind of magic cream that helps people recover magically.
Well, I am very old school, where I don't like to take a tablet like a Panadol or anything like that, unless it's really necessary. And I want to tell a story of that, because leading up to the Manchester Marathon, I had toothache big time the week before it. I wasn't able to sleep. So Monday, before the race, I went into work and it was that bad. I said, I need to go to the dentist here. So I went to the dentist and they says, oh, we can do root canal and all that, just kill the nerve, and or we can take it out. So I got a back tooth removed on Monday before the race. So I struggled that week with getting this tooth, and it's not even 2 weeks later now. It's not quite healed yet. So you know, I'm just old school. I just don't. I had to take tablets to kill the pain, but other than that, I don't take anything new. I take some SIS gels or Merton gels in the wrists, but even there, I don't take enough of them. You know.
We'll move on to what you actually do during a race, but it's ironic and serendipitous. I mean, we're about 18 months age difference. What you've just said, Tommy, is my experience at New York City Marathon about the toothache, but I didn't know what was going on. So similar to you, I won't take painkillers or whatever it is, you know, unless it's absolutely necessary. And my missus often ticks me off saying I should go and see a doctor. I says, oh, it's only this. And you know, obviously this chat is about yourself, but I remember getting some pain at Malaga Marathon. I thought it was back pain, but I ended up in hospital 3 days later with kidney stones. So I happened to be racing the marathon with kidney stones that wanted to come out. So that was one thing. But New York City Marathon, I was over there with my daughter and some friends, and it was like a holiday. So it was my daughter's 18th birthday at the time. And I remember at a restaurant, I heard something crack in my mouth, and I thought, oh, and I could feel pain. And my daughter says, you okay? I said, oh, it's nothing. But I could feel something had gone. I didn't do anything, and I just didn't eat on that side. I ate on the other side. When I got back home in England, I'd broken the tooth and had it whipped out. So similar to you, it was a back tooth that had to be removed. And it's gone now, but we're getting on a bit now, and things happen to us, don't they? That people talk about that. But how ironic you had similar thing. But for me, maybe I should have had that tooth because I was in New York. It was the Thursday. I thought it's going to cost an arm. I know I had insurance, but I don't want a tooth taken out 2 days before a city marathon. I didn't think I would recover in time.
Like I said, Monday, I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was the race. So I had 5-6 days to get okay for it.
But I think you mentioned Belfast Marathon. You're going to give that a go. What date is that?
It's the 1st of May.
1st of May. So literally just a couple of weeks away from now.
I'm hoping my son's going to pace me for whatever he can pace me for, 16 mile, 18 mile, and then see what happens after that. So okay.
Because one of the questions was, do you still run? Does your son still run? Was one of them, and obviously he still does. Have you got to the point where he's now quicker than you? Because I know you were quicker than him. Is he now quicker than you?
In the shorter races, below the
marathon.
But we're pretty similar in the marathon, so
I can
still give him a good race in the marathon.
How old is your son, out of interest?
He's 35.
Eoin, isn't it?
Yeah, he's 35.
35.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're nearly 30 years older than him, and still, giving him a run for his money. That is brilliant, and it's so good seeing father and son. I mean, I have a son as well. Well, obviously, I'm a daughter, but it's fantastic where you have things in common, isn't it? And you can do things together. I mean, are your other children as sporting as Eoin?
No, but Neil, my older son, he loves the sport as well. So we kind of can talk about sport all the time. It's great.
Yeah. So you touched on. I'm glad you mentioned about the gels, but there's sort of two questions here, and we can tackle it in different ways or whatever. But so your race day strategy. Do you go out even pace? So there's a race day strategy, the fuel that you take on, is it different for that? And one of the key questions was, what is the hardest thing about marathon running, or at what point in the race is it the hardest for you? So there's quite a lot there, but should we go through the, Manchester Marathon, what the strategy was and your fueling and so on? If we can go through that, talk us through that.
Yeah, well, main thing that was get into a pace that I was able to hold, what I thought I could hold for the whole of the race. So it was 5:35 or 5:36, something around that there. Anything under 5:43. So I had to kind of keep clicking off the miles under that 5:43. But as regards gels, I had 4 gels with me in my pocket and the shorts, but I only used one in the whole race.
One?
Yeah, because I'm so scared of upsetting my stomach,
Yeah.
you know. So I took one and I thought, oh, wait to see how this affects me. And then another reason why I didn't go for another gel was I'm in a kind of a groove and I don't want to upset that rhythm that I'm in.
Yeah.
And it's a problem with me, really is, because I think I should take more gels, especially near the end. But a gel doesn't seem to give you an instant hit type of thing. So I don't think it's that important. But I don't know. I think water is the main thing to consume in a marathon that keeps you going, because I go out on a Sunday and I'll do 20 mile without even drinking any water straight out the door.
Yeah.
So I'm used to running without water. So
Yeah.
if you drink water in the marathon, I think that helps hydrate you.
So you were taking the water on at every hydration point?
Any chance I got, I was going.
So is that more sips or finishing the whole little bottle?
Oh no, it's just sips. Again, if you drank too much water, it'd upset your stomach as well. So it's just a matter of monitoring the whole thing.
Right. Which gel did you take out of interest? You mentioned Sis and Morton. Which one did you
Science
take?
and Sport gels.
SIS. Okay.
Bigger packaged, but the Morton gels are they're what would you say?
They're quite jelly.
Harder to take.
Yeah. I've had a few of them, and it's quite.
They make you thirsty as well. I feel that they make you thirsty. You need water straight away afterwards.
Yeah, I think. There's all sorts of sizes, but you've hit the nail on the head there, Tommy. I've had Morton a few times, and the first time I had it, I didn't realize that it's like almost a solid. It's like jelly.
Yeah.
And some people have said that you should take the gel before a water aid, so to wash them down.
Yeah.
And there's all these little things. I mean, who knows, something like that. But it's amazing. I mean, same as you. And it's not here to brag, because people might be shocked when they hear us say that, I'll go out and run 20, 22 miles with no water, no gels, no nothing. Because we're running at an easy pace.
Yeah.
But it's taken us years, Let's just remind everyone, Tommy, you've been running for 5 decades. I've only been running 6-7 years, but I weren't doing this when I started, but I've developed to that level. So, for some people it works and for others it don't. And again, I guess the temperature played a lot in that race, because it was only 3 degrees Celsius when we were racing.
Yeah.
So it's freezing cold. So we don't need that much.
That was the problem too with the gel. Whenever I took the gel was cold as well. So I was going, well, maybe this is going to upset my stomach. So I waited to see, and it didn't actually upset my stomach. But I'm probably made a mistake not taking one maybe in the last 4 mile. I think if I had took one there, I might have been able to
have had a bit of a
going.
Yeah,
because my pace dropped in the last 3 mile, where I lost my target time.
Well, mine dropped off as well, but I noticed with the GPS that it was a slight uphill until that turn to the finish. It was a slight uphill gradient for the last 3 miles. Only slight.
Okay. I never knew
Only slight. But again, I don't know, because we've had this debate on social media that the watch's GPS and height is, you can't take it as true. It's not correct.
No, definitely not, because my watch was telling me around 26.49 mile, which is nearly 26.5 mile.
Yeah, so I had similar distances. Yeah, I think mine was 42.7 kilometers. So it's nearly 500 meters. So it's not quite an extra mile. But at what point would you say is a marathon? What's the hardest part of the marathon for you?
Well, for the Manchester Marathon, was the last 3 miles. I was just running on pure empty. There was nothing left, and I just wanted to see the finishing line so badly. I was happy enough up to 20 mile, 21 mile. I was okay. My pace was okay. 22 mile okay. 23 mile I was starting to slow down, and then 24, 25, 26. I just was a pure grind.
And is it similar in other races where that's the crunch point? Is it mile 23?
No, I thought other races I've ran strong in the last 3 mile. I think my preparation for Manchester just didn't go quite to plan leading up to the training. I moved house and getting settled into a new house.
Okay.
I thought I'd got shin splints at one time. I had to back off my training to sort that out, and it wasn't just a normal good training. That's why I'm thinking of doing Belfast, because now I've got the 26 mile in my legs and all.
Yeah.
And if I get the thing right, I'll be stronger in the last 4 or 5 miles at the finish.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Whether it works out, I'm not sure.
Well, I certainly believe, I mean, again, you know, the weather can play a factor, but do you feel that you might take that gel, that little extra gel, to keep you going?
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
When I started the flag, I thought, in hindsight, I thought I should have took another gel just because I had 3 more left, you know.
It's quite incredible that you've run that distance on just one gel,
yeah,
and taking sips of water. But is there anything? I mean, it's quite obvious. You mentioned about the love that you have for running, Tommy, and you just love getting up at 5, and I totally concur with that. I mean, when I was working full time, I loved getting up at 4:35, especially now coming into the summer. And you know, you're up early, and the beauty of being up early is there's nobody out, is there?
That's
There's no
correct.
traffic, there's no people, and you can just run quietly on the roads, and nobody bothers you. And then you get back, shower. I mean, I used to just get on my push bike, get to the office for about 7, and ready to go. But is there hard parts? Do you find the training hard, or is it because you enjoy it, you don't see it as hard? How do you find the training?
Definitely. Training's hard. It's day in, day out. You have to keep going, and no matter if you're feeling really, really bad, you have to kind of lace up the shoes and keep going. There's days you struggle, but it's all worth it at the end of it all, for just being able to run fast, you know.
But to run fast, again, people mention as we get older, people say, "Oh, how do you avoid getting injured? You know, how do you reduce your injuries? Do you do anything, any cross training, any strength training, or anything in addition?" You mentioned about the cycling that you used to do. Some people do spin classes and stuff, or go out cycling of a weekend. Do you do anything apart from the running to help with reduce the risk of injury, or to keep yourself injury free?
Usually when the better weather comes in, I'll introduce the cycling as well too, just for enjoyment of cycling, because I do enjoy cycling. I noticed after the Manchester Marathon, my shoulders were tired, and my stomach wasn't that strong. So since Manchester, I've been doing sit-ups and press-ups to build that up again. I might be looking at doing more gym work this summer for the London Marathon. So there's a guy locally that's going to kind of coach me through that there.
Is that specific strength work?
Specific strength work, the quads and stuff, the legs. The top of my legs, I struggle as well. They seem a bit weak. There's muscles up right at the top of the legs that get really weak. I need to get that sorted as well. So there's a few things that I'd like to kind of address and see if it improves. My strength in the run.
Have you been doing any of that in the past sort of 4 decades?
In the lockdown, I bought myself a wee multi-gym, and I had it in the garage, and I was working through that there, and I was feeling really strong. And and I lapsed that, and I just got back to just running. So I've decided to introduce it back in and see what happens.
I just had to move the camera there, because all of a sudden it's saying power battery was going down. So I've just changed the location. So don't worry, everybody, we're still here. Don't panic, Tommy. Keep it going.
So,
but the strength stuff, is it something that you've just introduced, or you introducing some more specific strength work, or is things that you've been doing throughout the past few decades?
Oh no, I only introduced in the lockdown. that's the first time I decided to do strength work, and I think it did help me. So
yeah,
I kind of stopped doing it, and I think Manchester Marathon told me that you should have kept doing it.
yeah,
That
yeah.
told me afterwards, after the race, that I said to myself, well, I need to get back to doing a wee bit of press ups and sit ups and stuff like that.
Right. But again, I mean, so you mentioned you're going to have a strength and conditioning coach. Do you have a running coach as well?
No, my own. A coach will give you schedules and stuff, and if you're not able to perform them schedules, there's no point in doing them. What I find is I just do my own. If I'm
Yeah,
feeling tired, I'll go for an easy run. When I'm feeling good, I'll run fast. I'll do
yeah,
my own
yeah,
coaching,
yeah,
and the best coach that you can have is yourself.
yeah.
You can get somebody that advises you and go, oh, you have to do this and you have to do. But I don't work very well off that regime at all.
I
I
know what you
want,
mean, Tommy.
yeah, I want to enjoy it,
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than being disciplined like that. Where it doesn't become enjoyment. You just
yeah,
you have to do this tonight and you have to do this tomorrow, and I go, no,
yeah.
I don't have to do that at all.
And of course, all the coaches who are watching this, don't worry. Is that as all the top coaches would say, that even the ones who are supplying us the schedule,
Yeah,
that it's 90% athlete, 10% coach. So
correct.
we
Yeah,
still have to. And
you have to
I've had
go.
a number of coaches, and they've always said they've been very good. It's they're there just to advise. If they give a
Yeah,
schedule, like a 10-day schedule,
yeah, yeah,
I don't have to follow each day. If I don't feel like it, then
yeah,
they always say don't do it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and those are often the best kind of coaches.
yeah,
But that's
definitely.
quite fascinating, knowing that. It's because I think you mentioned about races. So your next race is Belfast. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing your next goal, because I know you were saying that one of your proudest moments is the world record with your son, the
Yes.
father and son
Yes.
world record. You're going for that sub 2:30. That's your next immediate goal.
Yes.
But I'm
Yes.
guessing, knowing you, Tommy, is you're going to be going for more world records after that as well. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'll I'll keep going as long as I can. And
Yeah.
as I said before, like if I slow down that much, then I'll just go running just to stay fit,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's part of what I am now, and I'm just hoping just to keep going, and uh, I enjoy it, and to get this interest in me is unbelievable. I never expected this. Never I came into my older age. I never expected all this attention. It's it's
Well,
unbelievable.
well, you're an amazing inspiration, Tommy. You've been going the longevity, because there's a lot of people out there who who tell a good story or whatever, but for you, it's your results does all the talking for you.
Yeah. Well,
You
uh,
perform.
yeah. As I say, I enjoy what I do, and the thing about me, I won the Derry Marathon in 1984, and then 1985, and then they stopped it, and then never brought it back until uh, 2013, and I
Right.
was 53. So I'd won it in 84 and 85, and they brought it back in 2013, and I won it again 29
Wow.
years after
Wow.
won it. So that was three in a row, but a 29-year gap.
So, are there any specific world records you're going for? I mean, you've got the half marathon world record as well, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm guessing you've got some crazy parkrun world records as well for age categories. What other world records and distances are you going for? You're just trying to take the lot, from. Are you going to go on to track? Are you going to take on Alistair Walker on the 3K
I
track?
don't mind the track, but
Yeah,
it's not my forte. I like over. I can perform well over 5K, but if I drop down to 1,500 meters, I just don't have the same speed
yeah, yeah,
as some of the guys. Like even over 60s, I don't have that speed. I just never
yeah,
did
yeah,
have that speed.
yeah.
I've always considered myself a marathon runner. I'm
Mm,
born with the slow twitch, a lot of slow twitch muscles,
yeah.
and not as quick fast twitch muscles. But
Mhm.
As regards running world records, my main aim is to run sub 2:30, and I'll keep doing that there. I'm not even thinking about any other world records. If they come along, that's fine, but that is my main aim. It's my main drive, and it's a personal thing for me. Yeah. Because I've done it in 4 decades. I just want to do it in 5 decades. I don't think anybody's ever done it in 5 decades.
Well, I do hope, Tommy, that you do it in Belfast on the 1st, and we'll get you back on the show.
Love to do it. This is my home marathon and everything. So
I have every confidence in you, Tommy, and I'm a bit of a lucky charm, because the random stories that I have of people that I have literally randomly come across, where the day before New York City Marathon, I bumped into Shalane Flanagan in Manhattan, and she went on to win New York City Marathon, first American to win it in 30 odd years. The day of the Cambridge Half Marathon, at the start, somehow I ended up with the elite guys at the start warming up, and I had a quick chat with Nick Bester, who then went on to win the Cambridge Half Marathon. That was about a month ago. So here I am talking with you now, Tommy, and there are other people, but those are 2 that come straight to mind. I know you'll get under the 2:30 at Belfast, and I'd love to have you back on, and we'll talk about the Belfast Marathon, because I have every confidence in you. And there's so many people who watch this channel of our age group, and we just look up to you and think, you're an amazing guy. The longevity, you are an absolute proper running legend, as they say, and you're a great. You look so happy there, and content, and how you fit in the 100 miles every week is, I think I've managed to get up to about 70 miles, but that's only recently of the past few months. I've normally been a low mileage person and come off and knock off a. But obviously, in those times I'm about 40 minutes behind you, but I haven't been running for 4 decades or 5 decades just yet. But it's been an absolute blast chatting with you. I've got to finish this off. I've got what I call the random fast and 5 fast and furious questions, and they're all pretty random questions. Some are running related, some are not, Tommy. So bear with, and it's basically a yes, no, or which one do you prefer, or whatever. So the 5 questions. You have done an ultra, haven't you, Tommy?
Yes, 50K ultra, Yeah.
So the first question is, what's harder? Is it a ultra marathon or a fast 5K?
Fast 5K
is harder. Okay. Number 2, pizza or donuts?
Pizza.
I like that.
Yeah.
Number 3, hill reps or 1K reps?
1K reps.
1K reps. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
And last but not least, crumpets or waffles?
Waffles.
Fantastic, Tommy. Well, what can I say? It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor speaking with you, Tommy. I've loved this hour, and I hope the people who've been watching have loved it too. You can leave your comments, questions, and we hope to get you back on again, Tommy, because I know there's a lot more questions I want to. Maybe we'll do that like the grilling rather than a chatty chat like this. But I think I could talk to you forever. And one of these races, we'll meet up and either have a pizza or a cup of tea or something. I have got randomly, because I had one of my Irish subscribers send me in here is Barry's tea.
So, Barry's,
So one of my Irish subscribers, interesting enough, he has the same name as your son, Eoin, is Eoin.
Yeah, that's the same spelling as mine.
And he posted a whole bunch of Barry's tea bags to me, and it's fantastic because I love my tea as well, So whilst I may be Italian and I should be a coffee drinker, I prefer tea. I mean, my dad prefers tea as well, and he is proper Italian. But it's been an absolute pleasure, Tommy. I've loved chatting with you, and no doubt we'll see you again and cross paths. And all I can say is I wish you the very best of luck at Belfast. And whether you get your sub 2:30 at Belfast or whether you get it at London, and who knows, we may bump into you in London as well. So all the very best, mate, and take care of yourself. And
all right,
bye.